Good morning, everyone. We're continuing here in the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, and we're starting a new chapter today, Simin Kuf Pei Zayin 187, Hilchais Avedu Umitzia, the laws of lost and found articles and objects. Haraya Avedas Yisrael, someone who sees the lost object of his fellow Jew, Chayiv L'tapel Ba La'ashiva L'Ba'alav. He's obligated to involve himself with it in whatever way is going to be necessary in order to return it to its rightful owner. And that means if you find something that when you find it, it needs to be taken care of. For example, you find the lost dog. So you have to feed the lost dog in order that it's going to live. You have an obligation to take care of it in that way so you can return it to its owner. Now it could be that if you will spend certain amounts of money in order to take care of the object that was lost, you'll be able to request from the original owner, when you're returning it, I spent $100 to feed the dog before I could find you. He would be obligated to pay you back on that. Shenema, like it says in the pasuk, Hashev Teshivim. It says in the verse that if you would see the ox of your brother or his sheep straying, you shall certainly return them to your brother. Which means that means a person has to do whatever is necessary to do the mitzvah of Hashavas Aveda, of returning the lost object. Any property of your friend, anything that you could save so that it's not going to be lost, you're going to be obligated to rescue it. That's all included in this obligation. In the mitzvahs, I say the positive commandment that we have in the Torah of returning a lost object to your friend or to your brother, to your fellow Jew. Now he says over here, what about a case where a person lost an object, but based on the scenario, as we'll see, they would have given up hope of ever receiving it again. And therefore, since they gave up hope, it's like ownerless, and you would not seem to have the obligation of returning it to them because they're no longer the owner. Even though according to halacha, if you find an object in a place where the majority of the people there are non-Jews, even if the Jew would end up giving a siman, he would give a sign that would say, like an identifying mark that would show that it belonged to him. You're not going to be obligated to return it. Why? Because we could assume that the owner over here already despaired of ever recovering it. Why? He holds that if he dropped his wallet in a public thoroughfare that's filled with hundreds of people a day, many of them non-Jewish, we don't assume that they're going to be so particular with the laws over here of Hashavas Aved, of returning a lost object, and therefore I give up hope that I'm ever going to get it back. Now, even if I would give a siman, I would say, yes, it's my wallet, and I know that there was $12 in there was a 5, and there were 7 ones, and you can probably see my driver's license that has my picture, my name on there. Nevertheless, if the person was nisyayish, he gave up hope already, so then technically he's no longer the owner over here, and if I find his wallet on the ground, I would halachically be able to keep it. However, it's better for a Jew to act within the letter of the law. If the Jew ended up giving you a siman, he gave you a mark that identifies that this belongs to him, you should give it back to him. And even the Bezdin, the courts, are able to enforce such a practice to make sure that one Jew will return the object to another one. However, says the Kitzur, if the one who finds the object on the ground is a poor man, and the person who lost it is a rich man, in that case, we'll chalk it up to that's the way that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to provide for the poor man, and he has no obligation to act beyond the letter of the law and return the lost object to the rich man. We'll say that he found the rich man's objects and he should keep it for himself because that's the way that he's being sustained. Apparently, I would imagine that if a poor man would like to live lifnim mishra sadin and do beyond the letter of the law, if he wants to, he would of course be allowed to return the object to the rich man. If you live in a place where the law of the land, which means the civil law, is that you must return the lost object under any circumstance, meaning whether the person is despairing, or he's not, or he didn't despair, whether you have a sign on it or you don't have a sign on it, whatever the situation might be in civil law, you're going to be obligated under all circumstances to return this object. And this is a famous law. We've discussed it before in some of the other chapters, and that is dini de malchus dina, that wherever you live, you're also bound by the laws of that country or that state or that government that you are a part of. Even if you don't like the laws of the government so much, there's still a dini de malchus dina, and therefore, in this particular case as well, if the civil law is above the Torah law over here, so then the person who lost it can always claim that you owe it to him, and therefore you have to follow the law of the land. Have a wonderful day.